Hello and welcome back everybody to another One Piece discussion. Today I am joined by the infamous Zhoniin. He's another One Piece and spoiler content creator. He also talks about a bunch of different series as well, such as My Hero Academia, One Punch Man, and Dragon Ball Super. And today we bring him on here to discuss the latest chapter of One Piece, 1061, where we got to finally meet Dr. Vegapunk, him or herself. And the main topic I bring today are upgrades, because with Vegapunk, we know that there's going to be a lot of science and technology involved. Oda even mentioned that we will even learn the true identity and powers of devil fruits. But today I want to focus on the technological standpoint and talk about Sanji, Frankie, the Sunny, and even Chopper. And to kick it off, I think the first one and easiest one to get through is Chopper. What do you think Chopper is going to get out of this arc? Is he going to learn better medicine? Will he get some kind of, rumble ball upgrade? Will we learn what his devil fruit actually is? Because I'm still not on the boat that it's actually the human fruit. Because let me tell you, Chopper doesn't look like a human to me.
Interesting, because ever since it's been revealed that Luffy's fruit was actually the Nika fruit, tons of theories have popped up. It's like, oh, this fruit actually isn't that fruit. This fruit actually isn't that fruit. But then it also brings me back to like, well, it was specific in Luffy's case because the world government, more so Emu, didn't want the public to know that that was actually the Nika fruit. So, like, have they done that with other fruits, such as Chopper's fruit? And if they have, then, like, why?
Like, what it actually is. And there could be something more substantial to that, too, especially in Chopper's case. Because I see one thing people bringing up a lot, especially with the latest chapter and the ties to Enel and the Moon Pirates and etc., is that in the latest arc in Wano, when he took the medicine and everything was going on, he somewhat reverted to this old man child state. And I see some people drawing comparisons to Chopper's form in that state to the space automatas that are like these weird small creatures that look almost eerily similar to Chopper. So there are some theories out there saying that Chopper, or at least his fruit, might be related to what we see back in Enel's cover story. So there's a lot of like little details here and there that we could pick and decipher out.
No, they do. They are very Chopper-esque. Actually, down to the color scheme as well. Like, the official coloring for them is pretty much what the color of Chopper is, aside from, like, the mustache and everything.
Yeah.
Now that you bring that up, yeah, there's the eyes, the shape of them, very similar. And it also makes you wonder, like, what are devil fruits? How do they work? I mean, we have somewhat of a rough idea, but the fact that they can be based off of things and ideas is also, like, how does that work? Because that could go into
Where did it originate from? Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole other video where we go into talking about the origin of devil fruits and the Adam and the Eve tree and the whale tree and everything, but
we'll be here for hours if we talk about that.
Sure. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty here. So when I think about what Vegapunk can supply to Chopper or Frankie, I assume what he already knows, what he already is able to supply to them in the first place. It can't just be, he's just going to upgrade them with this, or he's just going to upgrade with them with that, because, that's ambiguous. He does know lineage factor, allegedly. I mean, He does, for sure. It's confirmed. And I think we'll probably get more into that. It's debatable if we'll get more into how that affects Sanji and whatnot. I assume he'll have to touch on Sanji because he's tied to him somewhat. Judge.
Yeah.
And Sanji's new power-up that we saw against Queen has to be explained, of course. But as where this relates with Chopper is the smile fruits with Wano. That wasn't fixed, right?
It was never talked about. No, we literally left that town and we didn't even try to help them from what it looked like. We literally just said, hey, we can't really cure that, and we just bounced out of Wano. Like, that was it. I mean, we freed them from Kaido, so I guess we did something for them, but, I mean, congratulations. You get to live the rest of your life laughing, I guess.
That was really surprising to me. Like, I even like reviewing the chapters and going through it on a week by week basis, I was for sure expected Chopper to just somehow reverse engineer it and then cure them. But no, and I guess it's because it's being saved for later. Like, it's obviously going to be addressed. It's not like they're just forever. And it's possible because it's coming down to this, the knowledge that he's going to get from Vegapunk, which is the lineage factor. Because we saw that not only using this, he was able to, Judge was at least able to, make Germa with it.
Yeah.
Just superior humans in general, but also he was able to derive like the devil fruit that an individual had eaten, such as with Kaido, and he was able to make the new replica fruit that Momonosuke eventually ate. So I think, or I assume, that in theory, if he gives this knowledge to Chopper and the rest of the crew, then he could use this with the people who have eaten the smile fruit, and that's how he develops the cure for it.
I could totally see that. And another thing with Vegapunk too is that we look at him as a scientist, but in some regards he's kind of also a doctor, because we even saw in 1061 that he was able to find a cure for the kids in Punk Hazard, which is something that Chopper couldn't even do at the time. He literally had to offset that entire problem to Tashigi and Smoker because they said they can fix that. So I feel like Vegapunk has a lot to offer to Chopper and the rest of the crew. I mean, going on to Sanji, you mentioned that Sanji, because he is Judge's son, that we will get some discussion with him and Vegapunk. And I feel like there were a lot of theories back in the day that Sanji had some Lunarian DNA, and that's how he was able to produce fire, because of the lineage factor. And if that is the case, then who is the better character to tell Sanji what he's actually doing than Dr. Vegapunk, a man that literally created Seraphims who have that Lunarian DNA within them and have that fire on their backs. So what do you think about Sanji getting like some sort of upgrade? Do you think he will get one from Vegapunk besides just learning more about himself, or what's up?
See, that's an interesting question, because it's like it ultimately comes down to like what Sanji is. From what we know, he hasn't been augmented the way that the other Germa have. Like, he doesn't have like an exoskeleton for what we know. Like,
yeah,
unless it's revealed that he did, but I don't think he has. I think more so it's just like the lineage factor, and I really wouldn't be surprised if he is like has the Lunarian genetics in him, because that's how he's able to develop the fire. That's why he's so randomly durable, the way that we saw King was. That was like one of his defining traits. Also, Sanji's like, it said that the Lunarians were able to survive in like every environment, the land, the sea, the air, and Sanji has shown all of those traits. Like, he's awesome swimmer, he can air walk like no one else, and then on the land he's fine, I guess.
I didn't even consider that.
But there's also another thing that makes me think that he probably has Lunarian traits to him, is the parallels that are kind of being set up, and it hasn't been explicitly stated yet. But if you read between the lines, the marriage between him and Pudding is allegedly paralleling to the relationship that Emu had with Joy Boy. Because Pudding, being the third eye, is very likely the same race that Emu is. Mm-hmm. And like, it's like, I just say this, and there's going to be totally people watching this who are like, what? That doesn't make sense. And it's like, it kind of does, but there's so much that goes into it. But I'll just leave it at that Emu probably had a relationship with Joy Boy, and it parallels to the relationship that Sanji has with Pudding. Also the same way that, like, you know how Pudding erases Sanji's memories of their kiss?
Yeah.
It kind of parallels to the Void Century. How everyone kind of forgets that 100 years of time. It's kind of what Emu did to just humanity.
It could be like an awakened version of Pudding's fruit that did that. Just affected everybody and erased that snippet of time.
It could be something like that. But I think it has something to do with the moon as well, which parallels to like what happened with Naruto with the Eternal Tsukuyomi, like the moon affecting everyone. There's just so much that goes into that, and I kind of feel bad about mentioning it here without going too much into it. But long story short, I wouldn't be surprised if Sanji has like Lunarian lineage factor in him, and it will be revealed in this arc through Vegapunk for sure.
And one thing that I want to see, if it does happen, if Vegapunk goes deeper than just DNA, is that for Sanji, I wonder if he will ever get like laser beams to any extent. I don't know. Because a lot of people set him and Kizaru up against each other when they think of admirals. They're like, oh, Zoro, Fujitora, Luffy, Akainu, Sanji, and Kizaru. But it's like, I wonder if Sanji will ever get any augments, since he is, you know, kind of being enhanced by that raid suit he had. I wonder if Vegapunk would make a better raid suit, better than Judge's, and say, hey, you know what, like, my staple is the Kizaru laser beam, so I'll just give you one too. I know Sanji only fights with kicks, he doesn't use his hands whatsoever, but imagine Sanji just shooting out a fat kick and then like a laser beam just like comes shooting out of his toes or something. I mean, I could see that, or at least like light speed like Kizaru. I feel like anything is possible, and I don't know why, you know, now that I think about it, I don't know why Vegapunk is so obsessed with that light devil fruit. I wonder if there's something deeper to it. Because if I had to recreate one, I would definitely recreate Akainu's devil fruit instead.
Yeah, me too. Or just Enel's devil fruit, but...
Enel, yeah.
Yeah. No, but it goes back to what we were talking about in my video, about how his technology is possibly based off of, like, the alien moon technology. And how Uranus, you know, what we... Allegedly, not confirmed yet,
allegedly.
Of what we saw of Uranus maybe in Chapter 1060... about how it was able to destroy Lelouchia, maybe Vegapunk realizes that that's like the ultimate. Like, creating those laser beams is what like the old civilizations were able to do. The old alien civilizations were able to do, and he saw that in Kizaru's fruit. He was like, oh, if I can replicate that, then I'm essentially replicating what they were able to do with those beam technology stuff. And as for him giving a suit to Sanji or an upgrade of some kind, definitely possible. And Sanji would certainly be reluctant about it, for sure, the way that he was with the raid suit. And maybe he would only use it like once or twice, and then after that, it would ultimately just have to come down to him inherently to be able to defeat whatever the big adversary was. Because, I don't know, that's kind of like the theme of most characters. It's like, we can't rely on things that others have gave us. We have to do it on our own.
Sanji's main crux with the raid suits, though, was that his family gave it to him, because it was from his dad and his siblings. Maybe if it was from Vegapunk, though, he'd be more willing to accept it. That's kind of where I'm leaning.
You raise a good point there. A lot of the mental block there was, or the hang-ups, was because it was coming from Judge, for sure. But coming from Vegapunk, who isn't, or at least portrayed to not be a piece of crap the way that Judge is, he would probably be more applicable to use it. Without, you know, seeing it as a crutch.
Yeah. We did see that we did see that Vegapunk in a flashback with Caesar was not a big fan of genocide. So in some regards, Vegapunk is confirmed to be a good person. So there's also that. All right, so now Frankie, though. Frankie is the one character, you know, Sanji, Chopper aside, Frankie is the one character specifically that we can all unilaterally agree that he is going to get some upgrades in this arc. And if he does get some, what are you expecting to see out of this?
So I'm hoping this is Frankie's arc.
Yeah.
Whenever we say Frankie's arc, like, every arc is going to be Luffy's arc. We already know this.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
The way that Whole Cake was Sanji's arc.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping that this is Frankie's arc in that sense. I mean, it kind of has to be. Come on. If this is Vegapunk, like, it has to be Frankie. And it's already kind of set up there because Frankie is talking to Vegapunk at the end of 1061.
He was even gushing over the machine, too.
Exactly.
We never see Frankie do that.
No. And Frankie has kind of, you know, not been too much on the forefront lately. In the last couple of years, since Dressrosa at least. So,
and with Frankie too, I mean, Oda is kind of drawing the parallels between Frankie and Vegapunk. Like, we had the shark come out in this chapter, and it was Punk 03, and then we have the Sunny Shark, which is also number 3. So, I feel like Oda is bringing that in. And then we had the robot that essentially looks like a better version of General Frankie. Like, Oda's essentially showing us that Frankie has turned into a kid's toy manufacturer, whereas Vegapunk is the wholesale Walmart equivalent. Like, I don't know. Like, Frankie's not looking too good.
Now that you bring it up, I wasn't aware of this, but the Sunny Shark is 03. That's fascinating. Because I mean, obviously he learned from Vegapunk's blueprints and research and information and everything. So the standard thing that we can assume, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this are assuming, is he's just going to strengthen what he already has. He'll just make the beams stronger or the mechanical aspects more refined. I don't know how much better the metal can get, because Frankie has Wapo metal, at least for General Frankie. Adam Tree Wood for the Sunny and everything. But unless Vegapunk introduces them, or maybe he could. So Vegapunk. It's said that he was the one who pretty much established and invented the sea stone coating for the marine ships, so that they can get through the
comm belt.
Comm belt. So that could be something that they add to the Sunny, like the sea stone under coating to it. That could be or just sea stone applications in general. But more so for Frankie in general, I'm not really sure, other than him just getting X amount stronger through his robotic applications, because it's hard, at least for me, it's hard to really imagine much more, because it seems like Frankie has already achieved so much.
He's kind of peaked in a way, or at least we always saw that he peaked in Onigashima. Like, wow, like General Frankie, that V slash, like that's crazy.
Like, he doesn't even have hockey, and he's defeating Flying Six members with just technology.
And he was only using General Frankie. Like, he didn't even hop out of it until the end.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much it. Like, we didn't even see real Frankie fight.
So, like, I'm assuming that whatever it's going to be on just a chapter by chapter basis at this point. At least from my perspective, we'll just have to see what Vegapunk is truly capable of and what he can give to Frankie, other than just information. Like, okay, here's this, and this is how you can improve upon that. I'm sure there will be like a big paradigm shift in technology going forward, for sure. We haven't seen it all. But this brings me to the big thing that I wanted to drop on you, which is good good for clickbait. So I guess we could just slide into Frankie / the Sunny upgrade. So, because it's going to be one and the same. If anybody's going to upgrade the Sunny, it's obviously going to be Frankie doing it. We know that Vegapunk is the one who discovered how to have an inanimate object eat devil fruits.
Oh, snaps. Okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah, so if he finally teaches this to someone, namely Frankie, it's possible. Now, there's not much to go off of. This is just, we're talking for fun here, and a possibility. And there are some, little things that could hint at the Sunny gaining sentience that, I mean, it kind of already had, at least when it was the 1000th Sunny. When it was the Going Merry. And that's the Clenbuterman and all of that stuff, which seems to be abandoned post-time skip. But if he teaches this to Frankie, then we can also assume that Vegapunk has replica devil fruits himself, because he's already done it. He just left one on Punk Hazard. I guess he assumed that it was destroyed in the explosion that Caesar had caused, but still, like, he wasn't that concerned with the replica of Kaido's fruit. So, I don't know. I think it's not too far-fetched to think that Vegapunk on Egghead has replica fruits there. Probably going to see them. So that answers the question of, okay, if they do hypothetically feed a devil fruit to the Sunny, then it would be a fruit that they get from Vegapunk. It could be a replica of something. And then that's the upgrade to the Sunny. It just becomes sentient. And it's just a thing that ate a devil fruit.
It would be like Big Mom's ship, just like laughing around, just sailing the seas.
Exactly. And that, in a way, I guess it becomes like another crew member. I mean, it always kind of has been like a part of the crew somewhat, but this way, it's even more so because it's freaking alive at that point. And I just feel like this has to be addressed. Like the whole inanimate objects eating devil fruits, because it was set up in Alabasta, right?
Yeah, we had Lasso. What was it, like a rocket launcher eating a fruit? I think. It was something like that.
It was like a rocket launcher that could shoot baseballs for some reason.
But it was also a dog.
It ate like the dog fruit or one of the dog fruits. And then it was later brought up in Eni's lobby with Spandam's sword.
Funkfried, yeah.
Wow, you're good with these names.
It's because the names are so ridiculous. Like Funkfried, Lasso, like they're not too forgettable.
But then, okay, here's another thing that makes me think that maybe... Well, okay, I'll go into that in a bit. But also, like, going back to the Going Merry, having, like, sentience to it pre-time skip, like, in Eni's lobby, like, when it came to pick up the crew, it's because of the Cloudbuterman, like, aspect of it.
Just a random plot point.
Which also repaired it in Skypiea and all of that, which, in case anybody watching this that isn't aware... It's based off of some, like, existing lore. It might be Nordic or something, or European somewhat in its nature, as to where ships would gain sentience and there would be, like, this ghostly apparition aspect to it, or something like that. And I guess Oda, well, for sure Oda was inspired by that, and he applied that to the Sunny. And that's why we see that glowing ghost thing, like repairing it and being all cheery and stuff. And the Thousand Sunny, like, speaks at one time, right?
Yeah. Or the Going Merry, yeah.
Going Merry, yeah. So that's where that comes from. And have you seen film Red?
Not yet. I've seen the spoilers and I already know, like, a gist of what happens. And I know the Sunny also, like, has some weird, like, sentient part to it.
Yeah.
Like, I just saw the trailer and I see, like, a dancing Sunny. I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Exactly. And that kind of just makes me think that eventually it may gain sentience, like, through an inanimate object eating a devil fruit. And that would be a great upgrade to it. Something that I guess the majority of the audience just wouldn't expect. And it takes me into the other thing that I wanted to mention. And I don't have too much evidence for this, and I can't elaborate too much on it, but I can say that Uteron came up with this. He's a Japanese One Piece YouTuber who so knowledgeable about so many things. He hypothesized that Zunisha is like Zo itself that ate a devil fruit.
An elephant fruit. Okay.
Yeah. And that's why it is like what it is.
And that could also explain why it's been alive for so long. Because elephants don't live that long.
Well, that's another thing. Is that not necessarily because of its lifespan, but just the whole aspect of it is that, I don't know, back in the day, Joy Boy, he fed Zo the devil fruit or something. And people were looking for Zo, or the world government or Emus people were looking for Zo, and he needed Zo to, like, vanish because he needed to escape for whatever reason, for the whale tree or just a part of the plan. And in order for it to go away, he fed it somehow the devil fruit that made it the elephant, and then he said for the elephant to just, like, lie about its existence and where it went, and then allegedly that could be its crime. The crime is that it lied about what it is and where it originally came from. Now, as for it being so old, it goes to its eyes. It has, like, the same eyes as Hakuba and Mihawk and Emu. They all have the same pretty much eyes,
the
different
dual
color.
pupil, yeah.
Yeah, and in my opinion at least, it's the perpetual youth surgery. Like the secondary
immortality
of the Ope Ope no Mi, lost fruit. And somebody, maybe it was Joy Boy who gave his life to do this possibly, or somebody did, to give Zunisha perpetual youth so that he could live I guess forever, so that he can go on the journey that he eventually needs to do. But that could be a parallel to possibly the Sunny eating a fruit.
The Sunny getting a fruit and then becoming the 10th nakama.
Yeah, 10th nakama, and then more powerful as a result of that, possibly.
I mean, it wouldn't be too crazy either. I mean, we've seen, like you said, we've seen inanimate objects eat fruits. And the Sunny, we always try to think about what kind of upgrades the Sunny is going to get. But with the Sunny and how it is, like, we can't exactly add anything to it to make it bigger. We can't, like, modify the face of it. We can't really do anything because that's our flagship ship. And even with 9 crewmates, it's starting to seem pretty dang cramped. I'm not going to lie. Like, when Oda was drawing, like, the trip to Egghead Island, I'm like, man, like, there's, like, no room on here. So there has to be something we can do.
Yeah, I've thought the same thing. Yeah. Like, it is big for a ship, even to our own reality for sure, but it's not that big. Like, it's definitely smaller than the other, like, worst generation ships, it seems, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and then you have, like, characters like Frankie and Jinbei taking up a majority of the room, and you're like, dang, man, like, where am I going to go? Yeah. And I feel like the Sunny is being foreshadowed to some kind of upgrade, because, I mean, Frankie, he had his bounty poster replaced with the Sunny, so I feel like that's kind of a tease as to what's to come. And if the Sunny does get upgrades, I'm wondering what kind of deployments will the Sunny get too. So we have a bunch of, like, random contraptions in the Sunny at their docking bays. We have 6 of them. The first one is the Waver, 2 Mini Mary, 3 is the Shark Submarine. The 4th one is the motorcycle, and the 5th one is the Brachio tank we saw on Onigashima. But there is one loading bay that is currently empty. Right now, what's in it is an inflatable pool, which obviously isn't being used for anything other than a good gag here and there. So I wonder if on Egghead Island, if maybe the Sunny doesn't get an upgrade, maybe none of the contraptions get an upgrade, I feel like Frankie might build something substantial to be put in Docking Bay 6. Maybe a really strong weapon, maybe even an ancient weapon, who really knows? But I feel like something's going to go there in this arc, and we're finally going to fill Sunny's last hole. What do you think is going to go in that final hole? I don't know why I prefaced it like that, but
no, I know.
What do you think is going to get docked in the hole? Yes.
You hear hole getting filled, you're only going to think of one thing.
Yes, yes.
I have no idea, to be honest, but you bringing up ancient weapon here is another reason why I think that the Sunny needs to be upgraded. Because I think that they're going to go head-to-head against Pluton eventually. And that's because Blackbeard is going to get it. Like,
I mean, we don't know who's going after those ancient weapons, but whoever that man is that Caribou's about to tell about Poseidon and Pluton, like, those islands are going to be in trouble. Yeah.
I think he's talking about Blackbeard. Like, that's...
I'm on that boat too.
Because
I don't know who else it could be.
It makes sense because, like, Blackbeard, he kind of needs something like that. And then it's just going to come down to the Sunny and the Straw Hats when they ultimately do face off against Blackbeard, and he'll have Pluton. And, you know, I'm not married to the idea of it eating a devil fruit because it's so left field. And, I mean, it kind of lines up with what Oda's philosophy of the characters getting stronger in the story going further, like what he talked about with the Nika fruit, about how he didn't want everything to be so serious, and he liked when things got comical and goofy and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, like, the Sunny being alive kind of lines up.
That's pretty goofy.
Yeah.
I can almost imagine if the Sunny was like a Zoan that could talk to the crew, that at some points the Sunny would be like, hey, can you stop, like, bouncing around on my back? Like, can you stop doing this? Like, who used the bathroom again? Please, flush.
Oh,
like,
my God.
We get a lot of, like, really weird moments, and I'm kind of all for it if that were to happen too.
No, I would. I'm so for it. Like, oh man, I like, just me thinking about it gets me excited. But, like, I also know that, like, probably not likely, but I think that would be such a good idea for it.
It's a good possibility.
I mean, why not? Because, like, come on. Regardless, the inanimate objects eating fruits has to be addressed for sure.
I feel like even if it isn't the Sunny that eats a fruit, I feel like something within our realm here will eat a fruit, some inanimate objects. And if I had to put a pin in one, other than the Sunny, I'd probably go to Usopp. Usopp has been flailing every arc. He hasn't really received an upgrade. He's gonna go to Elbaf, he'll get his shine, but I don't think he'll get any combat upgrades in Elbaf whatsoever. Like, what is he gonna do? Wield a giant slingshot? Like, that's not really possible. So I feel like a good bet for Usopp is to get a Devil Fruit within his Kabuto. I think that'd be really nice, and it could add like extra flair to his abilities too.
I didn't even think about that, but that would be fitting for him for sure. I mean, the only other thing that we can think of Usopp is just observation hockey, and
yeah,
I guess the Giants know that because, you know, everyone on Wano knew what hockey was and the advanced application of it. So
even the citizens knew about it. Like, it was common knowledge. Like even citizens are getting upgrades. You know,
exactly.
Like,
so
that's the point we're at.
I'm sure in Elbaf they'll be like, yeah, we know what hockey is. What are you talking about?
Conquerors, yeah.
This is how you
my
do.
Son has that.
Yeah, my son just got conquerors. So I mean, that's covered. But as for his arsenal upgrade, that would be fascinating if his slingshot thing became sentient, like it ate a devil fruit and it gained those fruit abilities as well. I mean, I don't know if it's exclusive to it as being a Zoan. I guess that's what is the implication here, because when we look at the blueprints, it's like Rocket eats devil fruit, becomes gorilla with rockets. Yeah. And then the only other things we've seen have been Zoans. So I guess the only way for that to work is for it to eat a Zoan fruit, because it would be cool if it could eat like a Paramecia or something. But I guess that would be a little too broken.
Yeah, he just gets like a Logia Paramecia devil fruit in there. Like, yeah, Usopp would be too strong.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nami got Zeus in Wano. And I mean, Zeus is technically still with us. Like, he's hiding in that wand. So if Nami's having somewhat of a sentient weapon, Usopp getting one would be kind of fitting for the quote-unquote weak trio.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was thinking about too. I was thinking of Nami having Zeus and how it would be similar to that. And, you know, maybe they can have a back and forth, like the sentient thing that he has.
The two sentient weapons.
Talking to Zeus. Okay, I don't know. I don't want to go off topic, but I still don't know what to make of Zeus. Does that mean that like Big Mom's still alive?
I feel like it has to. I mean, if Big Mom were to die, I would like to imagine Zeus would cease to exist or become a regular cloud. I mean, lo and behold, like, you know, Nami pulls out the climb attack next time, and then we just see like puffs of cloud pop out of it, and just Zeus is dead. I mean, that could be a possibility somewhere. But Zeus still being there in that climb attack, to me, means that Big Mom is still alive.
So, Kanjuro, was he dead when I guess he was, right? He was dead when the little flame sprite of the...
Yeah.
I don't know. Or whatever was going after Hiyori.
He was... It seemed like he was dead, but I mean, the flame kind of like talked... like with his voice at the end, like, hey, like, you know, like, I'm gonna get you. Like, I don't really know. Like, Kanjuro is such a weird one, because it was like his dying breath, and then I guess, you know, if you look at the time span of it, shortly after Kanjuro used that ability, or he, you know, seemingly died, and then that ability lasted for maybe like 10 more minutes, and then it fizzled out too. So I'm not even too sure how to even like think of it.
Me either. Like, I don't know if there's a right answer at this point, because we just haven't seen enough. I mean, I think that Big Mom, if between Big Mom and Kaido, if one of them is alive, it's probably Big Mom.
Yeah. I'm going to aim for both. I think both of them are still alive. You know, they might even still be on Wano. We don't really know.
Damn,
I mean, in the Road to Laugh Tale Volume 3, when Oda was introducing Yamato's concept art, one of the scenes that he originally planned with Yamato was Yamato talking to Kaido about wanting to go out to sea, and then I think Kaido eventually gives in. So I feel like if Kaido was still on Wano and still alive, we might actually get something similar to that, but I'm not too sure. And I feel like that would be a nice nod, right? Like, because I feel like Yamato and Kaido have such a weird father-daughter thing going on that I want them to at least exchange one more line to each other.
I agree.
Like, Yamato never once mentioned her dad possibly being dead. Like, oh yeah, by the way, my old man kicked the bucket. Haha. You know, like, let's go party, guys. Like, you know, even like one word, like, you know, he wasn't the best guy, but I mean, he was still my dad. I don't know, like anything. But then again, he locked her in a cave for 20 years. So I guess he might not be the best dad out there, but you know.
What was it that long? 20 years?
I was taking notes. I think so.
Wow.
I mean, she's been in chains for at least 20 years.
Yeah, well, chains, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, chains. Maybe not the cave, but you know, every now and then you got to let her see sunlight. I mean, but that's going. You know, maybe Kaido's doing too much for her. We can even argue that much. Maybe Kaido's too good of a dad. We don't know the tactics yet.
That's a good video title. Kaido was too good of a dad, actually.
Kaido was a role model. Yeah. Sai and Zhoniin get parental notes from Kaido. There we go. All right, with that being said, thank you for coming in, man. Thank you. Do you want to shout yourself out before we head out here?
No. Subscribe to Civ. Is that how you say your name?
Oh my god.
Civ?
It's actually Sai, but people call it Civ, and I'm totally cool with that.
Sive?
Sai. Yeah, just
Sai.
S-Y. Remove the V. Yeah, remove the V.
V is silent.
The V is silent.
Okay, Sai. Subscribe to Sai. Don't watch my channel.
No, watch his channel. We have a collab on there too. You have to watch it.
Well, all right, just watch that video, but then
watch that video and then subscribe. And then, like I said, he's being too modest. He covers so many freaking series. So if you want like a one-stop shop for literally every big manga out there, I would totally go check him out, guys.
Yeah,
he's also linked down below in the title and everything.
Don't watch Anime Balls Deep or Anime Uproar.
Who are those guys?
Or Plot Armor. Don't watch them. Watch me.
See, I only know about one of those guys, and that guy's name is Zhoniin. So with that being said, thanks for coming in, y'all. Catch you guys next time. Have a great break week.